we haven't fought. Imagine that. They gotta lie. They gotta lie. They gotta lie all the time. They can't even believe their own lie. You can't even believe your own lie.
I want to be the best. So when I see certain guys out there, and I seen Tio his last fight, I was there front row, and I'm like, damn, this dude is like, he like a baby Roy. Like he like doing things with his hands down, flashy.
Too much of it. You know, I think that he believes in himself. That's one thing. But I'm here to destroy his dreams and all that he wants to do and become. You can't take this from me. I worked very hard for it.
When the press conference wrapped up, Teofimo Lopez delivered a message that sent shockwaves through the boxing world. His words to Shakur Stevenson were ice cold and crystal clear. He's coming to inflict serious damage when they step between those ropes. Lopez doesn't care that the odds makers have him as the underdog. That label means nothing to him. He's about to remind everyone exactly what he brings to the table. The fighter made one thing absolutely certain. Anyone sleeping on his abilities is making a massive mistake. He's planning a performance so dominant that every single person watching will understand his skill level, his power, and just how badly he wants this victory.
Beat him up. Beat him up.
And we know at one point you contemplated retirement. Seems like you're in a good place now. You're active. Where are you at right now? Where are you feeling about your career?
Mentally, I'm in the Bahamas.
Lopez refuses to let anyone walk away with the championship he earned through blood and sweat. This belt, sitting around his waist, represents something deeper than gold and leather. Every sacrifice he made, every painful training session, every moment of doubt he pushed through led to this moment. This isn't just another fight for Lopez. This is deeply personal. He built this legacy one punch at a time, through discipline that most people can't even imagine. Stevenson might think he can just step in and take what Lopez bled for, but that's not happening. Not after everything Lopez invested to get here.
Of being in the ring,
yes.
Shakur Stevenson. Obviously,
sure.
You guys are both in Las Vegas. I'm hearing that you did link up today. A face-off happened between the two of you.
Face-off happened. Things of that nature. Just to create the things that are in motion already. So we're really adamant about fighting each other next, and I can't wait for us to really lace it up. And I see him across the ring, and really when that bell rings, lights out for him.
What's it like seeing him now kind of face to face? When you look at him, what do you see? Because obviously you're not locked in just yet, and the closer it gets to a fight, obviously things turn a little bit. But when you do look at Shakur, what do you think of him?
I think I don't think too much of it. You know, I think that he believes in himself. That's one thing. But I'm here to destroy his dreams and all that he wants to do and become. You can't take this from me. I worked very hard for it. I've bled for this, and I'm not taking nothing from him, but I just believe that what's gonna happen next is for destiny and the boxing ring to decide.
Here's how this fight is going to unfold, according to the experts. Both fighters are going the distance, but those first 6 rounds will tell the entire story. Don't expect Stevenson to come out swinging from the opening bell. He's going to stay patient, work off his back foot, and study exactly what Lopez brings. But here's where things get interesting. If Lopez can steal those early rounds and build a lead, Stevenson will have no choice but to abandon his comfort zone. Lopez is pure dynamite in the early going. The question everyone's asking is whether that explosive energy can last 12 full rounds. Should Stevenson fall behind early, he'll be forced to open up and trade, which means the championship rounds are going to be absolutely electric. On the flip side, if Lopez stumbles out of the gate, Stevenson might cruise to an easy decision victory. This whole fight comes down to chess moves, energy management, and who can execute their plan when the pressure is at its highest.
Because I don't think that Shakur is going to come out and try to fight or take the fight to Tio in the first 6 rounds at all. So if he's fighting off the back foot, if Tio can make it so that he's convincingly, or he's convinced at least Shakur that he may have won 4 of the first 6 rounds, if it's 4-2 in Shakur's mind going into the second half of the fight, or if I'm looking at him stealing those first 6 rounds, then it's an interesting fight going into the tail end, because Tio, to me, is a front runner, right? I want to see if he can carry his energy and his explosiveness late in the fight and not wear down. And then when Shakur starts to open up, can you steal some of those championship rounds from him and make it like a close fight? I think if Tio comes out and does what he usually does, which is try to swarm Shakur early and keep Shakur on the defensive, early, then he can try to steal a lot of those early rounds. And if he does that, then Shakur has to fight in the tail end of that fight. And that'll make it real interesting. If I'm looking at the first 3 rounds, first 4 rounds, and Tio looks like he's losing those rounds convincingly, then it's an easy night for Shakur, unanimous decision in my opinion. You know what I mean? Because I don't think Tio is going to bring anything late in the game, you know what I mean, to this fight. I think if he is who he's always been, you know, he's going to get gassed after like the 7th round and then take some rounds off. And when he does that, Shakur will open up and start to try to pick him apart, pot shot him, and do things like that. But this is the perfect fight, narrative-wise, for Shakur, because I've been waiting for Shakur to get into that fight where, you know, he doesn't have the fight where he doesn't have his Diego Corrales fight. You know what I mean? Where you think he's actually in danger. Shakur has been he's been outclassing everybody he's in the ring with. You know what I mean? Then the guys that you think could give him some work, like De Los Santos, I know people hate when I bring that fight up, but I want to see him actually in.
Stevenson's motivation runs deeper than most people realize. He lives for these moments where everything is on the line against the absolute best. When he watched Lopez's previous fights, something clicked. The confidence, the flash, the way Lopez carried himself reminded Stevenson of a young Roy Jones Jr. That comparison lit a fire inside him. He had to test himself against that level of skill and swagger. This fight represents everything Stevenson has been working toward. A chance to measure his abilities against elite competition while implementing new strategies he's been developing. Looking back at his battle with William Zepeda, Stevenson knows that fight was unlike anything he'd done before. The constant pressure, the relentless pace, the way Zepeda kept coming forward taught him valuable lessons about handling adversity. He proved to himself that he could thrive when fighters try to break him down with non-stop pressure. Now facing Lopez, Stevenson feels completely prepared for the speed, power, and unpredictability that's coming his way. His adaptability and ring intelligence give him confidence that he can turn this into a masterclass performance.
But bro, what is it about you that has you, looking at a fighter that you know is the truth and then saying, I want to fight him? It seems like it should be normal if you're a fighter, right? But that stuff is dying off in the game right now. And I feel like you one of the last of the dying breed that actually want real challenges.
Yeah, I'm competitive, bro. So it's like, I want to be the best. So when I see certain guys out there, and I seen Tio his last fight, I was there front row, and I'm like, damn, this dude is like, he like a baby Roy. Like, he like doing things with his hands down, flashy. And I thought it was cool. So it kind of made me want to get in the ring with him and see if he could do them things against my style.
Your last fight was against William Zepeda in July, and you fought a totally different way. It wasn't the easiest way or the best way to fight, but I think it was good for you and your development because it not only sent a message to the rest of the division, one up, your division at that time, and then the one above you, but it sent a message to the fans. But I think it also did something for you to prove to yourself that, man, listen, that wasn't like my best performance, but I showed you I can get it out the mud. What did that performance kind of do for you now that you look back at it?
Honestly, I think like styles-wise, I think that Zepeda's style is the style that's supposed to give me the most trouble. Like, guys that box and give me time to think is the guys that's going to have a fit with me all night. But the guys who press me and put me against some ropes and throw a million punches, that's the style that's supposed to give me trouble. So I went out there and I prevailed against that style, and now I'm fighting against a boxer, which for me, it just makes it more fun. I don't have to deal with a guy that's trying to like wear me down so much.
Right.
The significance of this matchup cannot be overstated according to boxing insiders. This represents everything the sport should be about. Top fighters taking real risks against dangerous opponents instead of playing it safe. Even if someone loses, their legacy remains intact because they chose to face elite competition. This fight embodies that warrior mentality perfectly. Don't expect a wild brawl with punches flying everywhere. Instead, prepare for a technical masterpiece where every move matters and fans will be glued to their seats. The skill level and strategic depth on display will be absolutely incredible. A victory here puts Stevenson firmly in the pound-for-pound conversation, though many believe he already belongs there. This has all the elements of those legendary throwback fights where the best of a division settled things once and for all. The drama, the skill level, the historical significance, all combine to create something truly special.
Or the health of boxing on this side of the world. Listen, there's nothing like the Garden. We've both fought there many times. I fought in the big room. There's nothing like the Garden. Just the vibe, like you said, champ, that's around that. And this fight is deserving to be here. It's that good of a fight. It's that big a fight, and especially like I said, like the health of American boxing. This is one of the best fights that can be made. And putting it in the Garden just makes too much sense.
But the idea of the turmoil, the eyes on it, the spectacle, the circus. Chris, you talked about the idea that Teofimo Lopez kind of lives in this. That's where he flourishes. That's what he loves. This idea that because there's so many eyeballs on it, it's going to be kind of a circus. Does that favor Teofimo a little bit when you look at the strategy? Yes, no?
I'm going to say well, I can't say for certain because there's no certain with Teofimo Lopez. He's one of the most up, down, left, right guys I've ever been around.
Mercurial, we could say. Yes.
But when he is on, he's damn near unbeatable. I mean, He's such a good athlete. He has such a good boxing IQ. He's so physical and explosive. And again, I've said this on past shows. I've called him many times for Top Rank, been around fight weeks. And it just seems to me, the more out of sorts he seems, the more back against the wall it looks like, the more that he's an underdog, the better he performs. And this could be that kind of situation. New York is a tough place, man. They're already gibbering, going back and forth, saying like, he reps Brooklyn, but there's kind of questions about his Brooklyn roots. Can he really rep Brooklyn in the way that he says he can? So he's already getting that heat for that. I don't know. It might be a good thing to poke the bear in terms of how well Teofimo is going to show up.
Paulie, that's a huge. You're from Brooklyn. That's a big insult to say that you're not really from Brooklyn.
Insult him a little bit.
Insult him a little bit. Insult him.
But I'll tell you what. There's so many thoughts in my head with this situation because Teofimo is at his most dangerous when he's counted out, and this is going to be one of those fights where
Lopez faces a serious challenge that could determine the entire outcome. His biggest weakness might be adapting to constant movement and changing angles. Sure, he's a natural athlete with devastating power, but dynamic fighters who refuse to stay in one place have given him trouble before. Stevenson's composure and tactical awareness are perfectly designed to exploit this vulnerability. By controlling distance and making Lopez fight at an uncomfortable pace, Stevenson can dictate terms instead of getting drawn into Lopez's preferred style. Lopez thrives in explosive exchanges where he can unleash his power, but that approach becomes problematic against patient, mobile opponents. Stevenson's defensive intelligence and ability to reset after each exchange could frustrate Lopez throughout the fight, draining his energy and limiting his effectiveness. Lopez needs to develop better movement patterns and show more patience if he wants to overcome Stevenson's technical superiority. This becomes a battle where footwork, timing, and ring awareness matter more than raw athleticism.
I feel like Tio is going to bring the fight. He's very athletic. He has a lot of explosiveness, and but I do feel like when it comes to Shakur, bro, his movement may frustrate him. The only thing that worries me when it comes to Teofimo is his frustration. Like, is he going to be able to work well with a mover? We've seen, difficulties that he had with Sandor Martin. We've seen the difficulties that he had with Jimmy Ortiz, guys that's been moving around and not staying still. Like, if you keep Tio moving around and he can't plant his feet, what can he do? We're going to have to find that out on, January 31st. And I think Shakur, he's probably one of the best guys to, move his feet, be on defense, being hella patient and frustrating a fighter, bro. Like, so, I don't know. We've seen Tio get frustrated to the point where he's asking himself, do I still got it? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We got to see what his mentality is going to be like come January 31st.
Do you think that his experience on the biggest of stages, his two biggest wins, he was an underdog. And both guys, ironically enough, were southpaws like Shakur. That play any factor to you, man?
Nah, styles is different. The styles are totally different. Lomachenko don't fight like Shakur. Josh Taylor don't fight like Shakur. Like I don't see just because the southpaw that same thing will happen. I feel like certain techniques could be used to fight Shakur, yeah. But in terms of like that approach of the fight, nah. Like Shakur fights totally different. You gotta be able to do some out of pocket stuff with Shakur. You gotta throw while he's throwing. That's probably some of the only times that he's able to get hit. Only time he's open. So. Yeah, other than that, bro, It's gonna be a pretty tough night for Teofimo Lopez, but I feel like it's still gonna be an exciting fight.
The version of Lopez that demolished Vasily Lomachenko is the blueprint for victory. That performance showed what happens when Lopez combines his natural aggression with tactical discipline. He thrived by maintaining composure while applying relentless pressure, forcing Lomachenko into uncomfortable positions without creating counter-opportunities. This balance between intensity and control makes Lopez incredibly dangerous when he commits cummily to his game plan. His athleticism becomes a weapon when he uses proper timing and strategic patience. Against Lomachenko, Lopez proved his effectiveness comes from smart execution and mental focus, not just physical gifts.
Glad you can come up on that offense. Why? Because you got to stop and you play with me.
Yeah, nah, for sure. I mean, look, like you said, the first thing you said was bluffing McMuffin, right? So you don't think that he's going to do that. Let's just say that's the case. Let's say he wins this fight, but he doesn't win this fight. Whatever happens.
Right, because you made a statement after he said all that. Say, I'm gonna go back down to 35. So which one is it, man? He kind of 6'7" with it.
There you go.
Come on, which one is it?
So let's talk about 140 then, because obviously there's other champions there. One who you've been going back and forth with recently online. One that you have history with, and you got other guys, Subriel there, somebody else you had history, Richardson Hitchens. What's the route for you going forward after your next fight?
After my next fight, unify. I've always let it be known. I want to be undisputed in my division. I want to unify. Anybody who got a title at the time, that's what I need to see next after my next up-and-coming fight.
Gary, just talk about, obviously your division is hot right now. This fight, your fight coming up, you know, maybe one of the biggest ones in Teofimo versus Shakur. Just looking at that fight stylistically, how does it play out in the ring?
It's 50-50. You know, in order for you to participate in this sport, you got to have a high level of confidence. I feel like both of them has a high level of confidence. Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson, but styles make fights. Naturally, I think Teofimo Lopez is stronger than Shakur. Naturally, I think he has more athleticism than Shakur, and he got a good IQ on the sport itself. But Shakur, I feel like he's a more smarter fighter. He's a more technical fighter. You know, I'm not saying that he's a square or he's just a textbook fighter, but he's seasoned, he's poised. I feel like mentally he's more mature. Like, he don't go outside of the boundaries on taking risks. So
those explosive bursts become even more devastating when paired with calculated patience. Lopez's power gets magnified when he picks his spots instead of throwing everything with bad intentions. The Lomachenko fight demonstrated that Lopez's ceiling is incredibly high when he executes with both aggression and intelligence. That combination of strategic thinking and physical dominance transforms him into a legitimate threat against any fighter in the division.
Everybody was criticizing him for, oh, he's a born fighter. He's a careful fighter. And I feel like with Teofimo Lopez, he's going to be a careful fighter. Now, just because he's a careful fighter doesn't mean that he isn't punctual with how he do things. I think Shakur, he got a lot of this arsenal that he can use to make him be victorious as well as Teofimo Lopez. You know what I mean? So it's a 50-50 fight, and it depends on what fighters show up the night of the fight. Right. You know, but if I had to give you my whole honest truth, if Teofimo Lopez show up and is ready to fight just like how he fought Lomachenko,
the boxing world is about to witness something special when these two warriors finally settle their business in the ring